Don't touch me, especially looking like that. First of all, I'm not too happy coming from a place like WWE to a dump like this. You know, after traveling around the world for the last couple of years, whenever I come back to North Carolina, I realize what kind of scum actually lives here.
Hey, let Matt come down here and take care of you, boy. Let Tank take care of you.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
And there's only one reason that I'm here, and it's not for you, and it's definitely not for you. It's to win this cruiserweight tournament. And I'm going to start with you.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, but Tank goes kick on ass.
I'll reference it. There's the bell kicking off our second of the second round matches, and Dexter Poindexter, everyone's favorite nerd, drew a first round bye, and is now in the second round against none other than Shannon Moore. But Nigel, what a different side of Shannon Moore we just saw addressing the crowd, saying that he didn't want to be here, he didn't want to be in North Carolina. Very, I've met Shannon Moore, I've known him for a number of years, I'm sure you probably have too, and that is not the quiet, humble Shannon Moore that we're used to seeing at all.
Oh, absolutely not. And wrenching the arm of Dexter Poindexter, definitely showing why he's everybody's favorite nerd, and he is well versed in technical wrestling, all sorts of wrestling, and definitely has studied that all his life, as well as Star Wars and other nerdy things. As a matter of fact, I think that's probably an oxymoron in most circles, favorite nerd. But anyway, that doesn't matter. We're here. It's Shannon Moore, Dexter Poindexter, and these two men sizing each other out, trying to feel each other out.
You gotta wonder if Poindexter's done his homework on this one.
Wow. We got a comedy club here tonight as well.
Takes Poindexter down. I cannot get over the attitude change in Shannon Moore. A vicious streak. Shannon Moore, like I said, for years was known as one of the most likable, quiet, humble, charismatic guys in North Carolina. And, coming from worldwide exposure like that, I can't believe that Shannon Moore is acting so resentful to be back on the independent circuit.
Well, it's one thing to have hatred for the company that might have mistreated you, let you go, but it's another thing to take it out on the fans who are coming here to support you. It's another thing to take it out on fans who have paid money to see you, who have supported you throughout your whole career, who gave you that opportunity. And a cheap shot, big boot to the gut, and a big forearm smash to the back of Dexter Poindexter, and now a big side headlock from the Prince of Punk, Shannon Moore.
That's exactly right. I mean, Moore, it's almost like he's taking out the fact that he was released from a well-paying contract with job security on these fans. These fans who have paid their hard-earned money to come see Shannon Moore and support his efforts to try to win this tournament.
Job security in wrestling? Do we have to keep using oxymorons in this?
Well, you got to wonder, though.
Leapfrog. Arm drag.
It almost seems like Moore only entered this tournament so he could get out of the North Carolina independent circuit again.
I'll tell you what, you're not gonna be able to do that. AWA championship will be defended all over the globe, and he will have to come back to North Carolina if he intends on becoming that champion.
That's exactly right. CWF Mid-Atlantic, one of the biggest, I believe we have 21 now territories under the AWA banner. CWF Mid-Atlantic, the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight, wow. Japanese arm drag, the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion, currently Gary the Mad Trucker Stevens. Previously it was Slick Rick Converse, always one of the top contenders to the world heavyweight champion, Steve Carino. And obviously the light heavyweight championship will be just as prestigious and will be defended in the Carolinas at some point. You have to wonder if these fans will accept Shannon Moore if he was to pull out this tournament victory.
Well, I'll tell you what, you hear some of the fans heckling Moore, asking him where Devon Dudley is, where
I heard someone asking for Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy, of course, that's a well-noted friendship in the past. Dexter Poindexter looks like he's gonna fly over the top, and he does. Connects.
360 dive from Poindexter all the way up and over onto Shannon Moore on the floor. You gotta wonder, from facing world-class competitors every night, is Shannon Moore taking Dexter Poindexter too lightly? And is Dexter Poindexter capable enough to capitalize that on if he is?
Dexter Poindexter trying to capitalize, and only a 2 count. Of course, as we've seen in the World Wrestling Entertainment, Shannon Moore has definitely been misused and is trying to take that out tonight.
He's bulked up tremendously. He looks fantastic physically, bigger than I've ever seen him by far. Wow, sends Poindexter right into the buckle.
But as I was saying, Shannon Moore has definitely had to face bigger guys. He's been misused, not used in that cruiserweight division as well as he should have been. And now in the ring with somebody his size, stomping down violently to the back of Dexter Poindexter. Is he used to now wrestling guys his size?
That's a great point. Shannon Moore is so used to being at a size disadvantage. This is a very, very rare opportunity for Shannon Moore to face someone who's actually smaller than him.
Well, absolutely, and now Shannon Moore, big kick to the back of Dexter Poindexter, and I believe I just saw a pencil fly out of one of his pockets.
Oh, it's a good thing the Sheik's not here. Makes the cover. Shannon Moore, I cannot get over this viciousness, this violent streak that has come out of Shannon Moore here at this tournament. One of the, I believe, the first independent date that Shannon Moore has taken since his well-publicized release from the company up north, and I cannot believe the violent, vicious nature that we're seeing. Referee Red Jones now checking to see if that's a choke from Shannon Moore.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. This is the first appearance from Shannon Moore on the independent scene, and he is making it here with AWA at CWF Mid-Atlantic, and that just goes to show what this championship, how prestigious it is, and who wants a shot at it.
I know a lot of us here were really looking forward to have Shannon back. He's made a handful of CWF appearances before, most notably taking on Champaign in June of 2001 here at CWF Mid-Atlantic. A lot of us were really looking forward to having Shannon Moore back in our locker room, but I tell you, this is not the same Shannon Moore that we've known in years past.
Well, it's absolutely a different Shannon Moore. Big clubbing blows to the head, and now stiff kick to the skull of Dexter Poindexter, and introduces his head into the turnbuckle. Big chop.
Wow, opens up on Dexter Poindexter.
I tell you what, Dexter Poindexter may be looking for a lightsaber, but definitely doesn't have the time to. Big back elbow, though.
What a tremendous opportunity, though, if Poindexter can upset Shannon Moore in this tournament. That would
missile drop kick, dare I say.
That would certainly be an even bigger upset than Damien defeating the former tag team champion here at CWF Mid-Atlantic, the American Steel Ninja. If Dexter Poindexter can pull this off against Shannon Moore, that might become the upset of the year.
Tell you what, he may be just the #1 nerd on the internet, have those bragging rights on his little blog space, do whatever he wants to. Both men now trying to make it back to their feet, excuse me.
I wonder if Dexter Poindexter was to pull out this tournament, if he could get a date.
Well, now, don't stretch it too far. Big clothesline, though, from Dexter Poindexter, and another back elbow to the skull of Shannon Moore, throwing Shannon Moore into the ropes.
Dexter Poindexter is what Gordon Soley would call deceptively strong. He's knocking Shannon Moore off his feet, and at first glance, you don't expect Poindexter to pack that much power behind his shots.
Or pencils.
Going for sliced bread. #2, up and over on Shannon Moore. This could be the upset. It was not to be, only 2.
The only person upset now is Dexter Poindexter, and I think some of the fans, but now both men on an even playing field. Both men have been, how
fascinating was that? How fascinating was that? The crowd in a stunned silence, thinking that Dexter Poindexter was going to pull this thing out, and then when it was only a 2 count, angry at official Red Jones.
Shannon Moore running from his problems, so to speak. Oh my goodness, this is cheap shots all around. Dropping that knee to the back of the skull of Dexter Poindexter. I tell you what, as you have said, Shannon Moore definitely with a different attitude, outlook on life. There's no justification for it. I know that sometimes that can be emotional, being released from such a big company, reversal.
Well, you always hear the horror stories about how demoralizing and how much of a morale killer it can be to work for that company, but we've never really seen it, a living, breathing example of it until now. Shannon Moore is just angry at the world, it seems. Picks Poindexter up, gets a version of a Northern Lights, but only gets 2. Poindexter is still alive in this thing. But as I was saying, you've never really seen a living, breathing example of just how frustrating and demoralizing working for that company can be. Until now, Shannon Moore, a completely different individual than the man that made his name on the independent circuit here in North Carolina over the last 10 years.
Well, absolutely. I don't think that it's just working for that company. I think that it's Moore's problem, that he has this attitude problem. It's the way that he took things into consideration. There's a definite negative and a definite positive outlook on life. He could have taken either pathway, And as you can see, he's gone on the negative path here. I don't think it's the fault of the company so much as it is Shannon Moore has an attitude problem and doesn't know how to adjust it.
That's exactly right. I mean, speaking as a representative of CWF Mid-Atlantic, the home promotion for this tournament, a lot of us were really looking forward to Shannon Moore's homecoming, so to speak, and he has really taken it to Dexter Poindexter in a way that we've never seen before out of Shannon Moore, the Prince of Punk, as he wants to be called now. Shoot off. Roll up. Inside cradle. 2. Wow. A close near fall. This crowd is trying to eat Red Jones alive on those near falls. They want to see Dexter Poindexter pull out this gigantic upset against Shannon Moore.
Well, they want to see somebody get a victory in this match, and more than anybody, Dexter Poindexter, of course, as we've said, a fan favorite here in CWF Mid-Atlantic and all around the southern states here, but a definite great representative in this lightweight tournament. And Shannon Moore whips him into the turnbuckle up, props up on those top ropes, and goes for some sort of hurricane rana.
Moore going to the second rope, could be the Moorgasm. And that is it. Shannon Moore off the second rope with the Moorgasm has put away Dexter Poindexter.